Hi and welcome to Take 5, GIM's very own mini chat show. Today we have with us Mr. Aruni Ghosh. He is an alumni of GIM, has been in the corporate sector for more than 15 years. Let's have a few questions. So first of all, hi sir.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very good after almost 13 years in Goa and the campus. So really nice to talk to you all guys and interacting with the PGP1 and PGP2 is really great.
It's really nice to know that you're feeling really good.
Yes.
So first of all, we know that you were a management trainee, and then within 3 years, just a short span of 3 years, you went on to be the associate director. So I would like to know, we would like to know that how career growth should be looked at in today's context, and what was it which made you from a trainee to a director in just 3 years?
Okay, so I'll tell you my personal experience. See, the specific instance that you just quoted, that within 3 years I became an associate director, I would put down to probably two factors. One is I was really passionate about market research, as I was explaining during the session, that this is something which I really wanted to do. And I sought out this kind of a role very actively, even though I had to compromise of the initial salary a bit, kind of a thing. So I think that passion actually helped me, because obviously that means you probably put in a lot more effort to understand what are the technical aspects of it and build your knowledge, skill set, which is very relevant to that particular role, probably better than the others who are not necessarily in the same field out of choice, but more for a compulsion kind of thing. So you stand out in that scenario. And the second aspect probably which worked for me as well as, I believe that emotional quotient, the EQ part, which I'm sure you will learn or have already learned, really plays a lot of role in your career, about how you interact with your peers, about how you interact with your bosses. People eventually see you as a mature person who can handle tough situations and so on and so forth. These things probably contribute, at least it worked for me for a faster career growth.
So the next question would be, you've been associated with market research and analysis. So you've seen many practices which are there in market research and analysis. So, and you also work for next practices. So according to you, which right now are the best practices in the research field, in market research field, which are going on?
Yeah, market research is evolving at a quite significant pace, I would say. And frankly, the evolution is, all of them is centered around one big thing about how do you get to actual consumer response without asking them. Because as you know, when you ask a response from a consumer, there is a lot of bias, there is a lot of thinking through that happens in consumer's mind, which is not necessarily the true motivations that you capture. So all the evolution is going to happen, or actually the researchers are going on, is all about capturing that unbiased responses of consumers, be it by studying their neurological functions, be it studying about how to use metaphors and therefore how to use that to elicit consumer response, be it usage of big data which you collect not through asking people, but rather about how they behaved in a certain situation, kind of a thing. So all the evolution, if I really have to categorize it, it's all centered around the best practices, the next practices about how do you capture unbiased responses, unbiased data and insights from the consumers.
The next question would be related to the field of education a bit. Nowadays, MBA has specialization in the niche sectors, like marketing has been there, but now it is also divided into various parts, like market research and analysis is coming out to be a whole different thing. So according to you, is it better to have such niche segments, or is it better for MBA to be just generic and people learn through the experiences about the different fields and specializations?
I'm not sure whether my answer is biased because what I have gone through, but I would probably be favoring the second instance that you were. See, as I see it, as I was telling the students as well, that what any MBA course, residential MBA course for 2 years does to you is not necessarily the skills or the knowledge. It is all about building an attitude, about how do you handle multiple tough situations at the same point of time, how do you interact with people, how do you manage things. And that is I would say, is a broad generic skill set. And that is what the objective is for that 2-year course. Now, after that, whatever field or whatever industry you are interested in, you eventually build your knowledge, your skills based on that. But if somebody asks me, I will probably strongly suggest them to go for a generic MBA for 2 years, where you build that basic skill set of, as I explained, and then whatever field or industry you are interested in, you go in depth in that while working, make a name for it in that, and so on.
With our next question, we'll move a little bit more personal. You've worked with various projects during this long span of career that you've had. So we would like to know about that one project which was really like interesting for you, which was really good. Which makes everything is there, and that there's one cherry on top of the cake. Which was that one?
Actually, there have been, I mean, probably I'm fortunate in that I had many chances to work with varied clients and have probably very good relationship with them. But if you have to ask me, probably one particular project that really, I mean, makes me very happy to think about is, we were doing this project for one of, when I was in the agency side, doing this project for a client in segmentation space, about how do you segment people based on their needs and uses and attitude. And the client already had a segmentation solution in space, but they were not finding it very actionable. And they came to us saying that, okay, this is the data set, but we are not finding it actionable, and therefore if you can do something about it. And frankly, we probably were able to do something with it, and it was very, very well appreciated by the client, and eventually it became a protocol in the client side, and as a result of which basically our business increased because of getting those kind of projects more and more. So that is something which I very fondly remember, and eventually I joined that particular company, and basically so this is still something people talk about, so that's really
And the last question would be a very generic question. The thing, there are many people who, for example, the ones who just stepped into this field of pursuing management as the education now. The thing is, they're really confused whether they should go for marketing or not, whether they should go for HR. So there are people who want to go for marketing, but they are still in a dilemma whether they should go or maybe they should step back. So is there anything that you would like to tell them which would make their decisions more easier?
I'm not sure I can help on that, because frankly speaking, if you ask me, even today, after 15 years of specializing in market research, a very, very specific niche field, I still have the opportunity to, in my company, to go for a HR role, to go for a specialized marketing role, to go for a specialized sales role. And at certain point of time, I get to evaluate those. It's open to that. I would think that probably during those 2 years, it is too early to be very, very fixated on a particular stream. But yeah, obviously you have to start somewhere. And my suggestion is always, what I followed is that whatever you like. So you get to see all the subjects and their coverage during the first year, take an informed decision, try it out. Obviously after 2-3 years, if you don't like that field, I believe if you are good enough, you will have enough opportunity to eventually, go into what you really find your mojo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ghosh.
Thanks so much.
It was really, really nice meeting you.
Same here.
And talking to you.
Thanks.
So that was it. That was Mr. Aruni Ghosh for you.